but he didn't think to like share it with anybody, not even me. And I'm like, hey, you need to share the goods. And so I'm really excited about what he's about to show you. This can really change up some things. Great resource where nobody's dipping into. So I think I said enough. Let's just go ahead and get started. You ready to get rocking, Robert, or where are we at on that?
Yeah, man, the check's in the mail for that awesome intro too.
Oh yeah, no, it is. You can just PayPal it to me if you want, or
Nah, man, you gotta wait.
I'm a cheap date. You can buy me a beer. That's cool.
What's going on, everybody? I want to know if you can, one, hear me, and two, that you can see the beautiful Daredevil marketing logo that I have up on the screen. Give me a 1 or a yes. Awesome, cool. Nice to see you, Scott, Candelaria. I think I always butcher your name. Kevin, Rod, Andrew, Betty, Shane, Doris. Awesome. Guys, we also have sitting shotgun with me right here for this training is our new assistant. So everybody say hello to Marisa. If you want to, her the way she spells her name is M-A-R-E-S-A. So I'd appreciate it if everybody says hello to her. She's listening in right now, kind of shadowing me. She's going to be a lot on the front lines with us, especially over the next couple of months and stuff. So thanks for the shout out to her. And let's get started. We got some cool stuff. Like Ryan said, I am very bad about thinking that everybody knows what I know, basically, if that makes sense. Like I never say like, oh, I'm going to teach this thing because it's so cool or whatever. Basically, I just do all this stuff, and then I'm like, you didn't know that? And then, so whatever. So if you guys are excited, uh-oh.
Can you guys hear me? Oh, we lost you, Robert, or I lost you. Can you guys still hear Robert? Can you hear me? We need some feedback. Damn tornado got him. I hope not. He has all our passwords. You, not Robert. Okay, well, Robert.
Can you not hear me?
No, we can hear you now. You're back.
Okay.
You're back.
Okay.
Whew. Make sure you give me all the passwords before the days are with too. Okay, I'm gonna go back on mute.
Okay. All right. Here we go. It said that that I'd been knocked off for a minute. So if we happen to get disconnected, we will email you right away. And let you know if we have like another, we'll just basically do it later this week or something like that. I don't think it'll be that bad, but let's soldier on. So I'm going to close this real quick, and we're going to do a little bit of a week 2 review. So we talked about direct mail client acquisitions, and we used 2 good examples. We also used 2 fun screenshots of Ryan from a video he made. And that is a public video, but we went over a lot of stuff that wasn't in the public video, right? So we talked about using that manila envelope in conjunction with the confidential stamp, which is a really good way, a really cheap way to use in conjunction with Reference USA or Info USA or whatever you're using to dial that client in, right? Remember all that cool training we had about Reference USA and Info USA and those other sources that gets you all that client data? Scott says yes. Appreciate it. Yeah. Doris says yeah, it rocked. Yeah, it was awesome. Are you guys using that yet? Give me a yes or a 1 if you're using that yet. If you're not, tell me why right now. Tony says some of it. Kevin says yes. Eric says yes. Art says yes. Awesome. Shane says yes. Scott says will be this week. Okay, definitely. I mean, this is all that client acquisition stuff. That gets you the highest paid clients right out of the box, right? So you're not one of those people that are struggling trying to get a $100 a month client or even a $500 a month client, busting your butt every damn month. You can start off with a higher paying client right away, and more importantly, a higher paying recurring client. So that's why it's important. Let's move through this review a little bit faster. I feel like I'm stumbling around a little bit. Also, we talked about that little kind of envelope, but anything that looks official and is addressed directly to the executive. Remember on Reference USA, it says like executive name. That's usually the owner, because we're only going after private companies, right? Not public, because we don't want to deal with a board and all that stuff. Remember the grabbers. And this is when you get on the phone with this person, after you sent out that direct mail piece, right? And you're enticing them with something. Usually we like to start with those negative reviews. You know what I mean? When we were talking about, printing off negative reviews from online about that company, circling them with a pen and drawing a line over with a little arrow and saying, what's up with this? Give me a call at 555-555, whatever, right? That'll get, if that's the owner of the company that opens that, that will not the owner of the company, say it's his assistant, the office manager or whatever, that's above her head. She knows or he knows that that's bad PR, and it's going to go to the appropriate place, right? 9 times out of 10. So when you get them to call, this is the most important thing that you can do, is letting them talk about their business. It's an old psychological thing where people always say that, the everybody's favorite subject.
Son of a bitch. Can you guys hear me? We lost you again, Robert. Oh, lost you again. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear? Lost Robert. Then I lost Robert. Lost. Yes, can hear you.
Okay,
Robert. Didn't you know what? I just won't chime in anymore. No, Danette said she lost Robert too. So.
Okay. All right.
Me and you, Danette.
Okay, so everybody has heard of that thing where the number one thing where people like to talk about is themselves, right? Well, business owners, that's the number one thing that they like to talk about. So have you ever heard about that? I mean, think about your own business right now, and somebody wanted to ask you, and particularly if you were doing good or you weren't doing so good or whatever, like you want to talk about that, especially if there's negative crap going on, right? Because you want to explain yourself. That business owner wants to explain himself. Oh, that negative review, I know exactly who that was. That guy came in, he was a total dick from the start, blah, 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 blah. This is how it all went down. Let him talk. Let him talk through that stuff. Give them be their psychologist for a little while. Doris says, yes, people like to talk about themselves, even if they aren't a business owner. That's exactly right. But if they are a business owner, they love to talk about their business because it's an extension of themselves. Just like my business is an extension of myself. Someone asked me about Daredevil marketing, I'll talk their ear off. Someone asks Ryan about his other businesses, he'll talk their ear off. Somebody asks me about my other businesses, I'll talk their ear off, right? Especially if somebody's talking trash about it. So that is what you immediately, by letting them do that, they're psychologically, whatever. I'm not Sigmund Freud or whatever, but there's a psychological connection between you where you're automatically the expert just by asking them questions, right? You're not explaining anything, but you're asking them questions. So what happened after that? And what did you do about it? What are you currently doing about it? Not going in for the sale right away, just letting them talk about it. And I don't think we covered that in enough detail, or I put enough emphasis on it last week, but that is your key right there, because it puts them in a position, and it puts you in a position of being the teacher and them the student, basically. And and once you're the teacher and they're the student, and you don't even have to teach, you just have to ask those questions, but they feel obligated to answer them. And then once you're the teacher and they're the student, it's a really short leap to make you, them the client and you the business person that can help them out. So we also talked about the RIMAC close. Who remembers that? Has anybody put the RIMAC close into use yet? We talked about
I remember the RIMAC close.
Do you remember that? That was good. That was a good close.
I remember that one. It was a nice one.
The RIMAC close, Doris has not yet, but I think Doris, of all people, is definitely going to put this into use because she's a hot runner. She's awesome. The RIMAC close is absolutely great. It was geared for this kind of marketing. Jeff says he likes the Robert close, and Jeff, I think from Jeff, from what you've said, you're definitely advanced enough to go straight into something like that, the Robert close, which is what we talked about. Remember when I talked about the Robert close, which is the takeaway kind of stuff? Now, we're not going into that just because you have to be shit hot to do that. And I'm not saying that as a bust on you guys or anything like that, but I want to make sure that you get this close down first, which is the RIMAC close, because that's really all you need, right? If you want to get cute later on down the road, then start doing like takeaway stuff like I do. But this close right here, I mean, once you get them in a position where they're explaining themselves and they're, you want them to get emotional. Just like Ryan said last week, sometimes they're going to get pissed off. They're not pissed off at you, but they're just pissed off at the person, or that they because they Google their business name. Who doesn't Google their business name? Everybody does. And they see that at like the second or third position. They know something needs to be done about that. So this is the easiest way to do it. Hey, to get started, let's just go ahead and do this, right? And this is an SEO example, right? But you can use the same thing with reputation management. You can use the same thing for anything, even a mobile website if you wanted to. All right, so we also talked about how referrals can turn one client into 6 figures easy. I know I don't have to harp on that because everybody was paying a lot of attention to that. That right there will exponentially grow your business faster than anything else on the planet. You just need one client doing referrals for you, and that one client will turn into 6 figures per year, easy, very easy. I put these slides in there so we could go back through it, but I don't think we have to go back through it because it's pretty much self-explanatory. You get that one guy working for you, like I said, like we were talking about last week. Ryan had that guy that was like, dude, I'm gonna start working for you full time. And he was so acclimated to getting Ryan's services for free when, after a few months or whatever, he kind of slacked up on referring and Ryan building. The dude was like, hold on. Let me go get you some new business, right? So that's how awesome that is. And if you need to review that, by all means, it's week 2 is in the members area. So yeah, I've stuck this slide in here too. Man, Ryan, I'm going to start working part-time for you. It's genius. Going on with the review, we talked about checking into existing clients to turn them into high-paying clients, and also showing them your package, right? And that's my funny way of saying it, but that package image will make you so much damn money if you do it right, if you just show it to them. Remember the check-in. What we're doing is a campaign overview. You've got all your stats. You've emailed them to them. Hey, Joe, can you pull those up real quick? Let's take 10 minutes to go over and let me show you exactly what's been going on and everything. And while you're telling them what's been going on, you're proving yourself as the expert. You're proving that they cannot live without you. That's the best client in the world. They can't live without you. I love it when they tell me, well, man, 75% of my business is coming from you now. Good. Pay me, right? You need this other stuff too, because I want 80%, 90% of your business coming directly from me. You are their lifeblood now, right? And you aren't even doing anything, right? Because you got your project manager, you got your outsourcers doing everything. Now, that brings me to what we're talking about this week is outsourcing. Who wants to know more about outsourcing? Shane says me. Betty says yes. Kevin says yes. Art says yes. Greg, me. Doris is like, excellent topic, bring it. Shane says project management. We're going to talk about that too. I promised y'all. I got you. All right, remember, what is your job? Everybody put it in the chat box right now. I'm making this very, very, very interactive this week. What is your job? Boom.
Wait a
Everybody's
second.
getting
Hold
it.
up. Isn't it? Aren't we interactive every week? Have
Well,
we not?
to this extent. I'm making them type like so much
I thought
more
we made
this
them
week.
type.
Well, we do, but I'm just
Oh, okay.
I've already made them type like 8 times. So and even when they couldn't hear me, I was like type. All right. So all right, your job and your only damn job is the rainmaker. Not your job is working. You should not ever be working. If you're working, you're doing the wrong thing. Doris says it's easy behind a million excuses, but when you outsource properly, you've got to be out there as the rainmaker. I swear to God, each and every week, Ryan, she says exactly what I want to say, but she says it more concise and better and prettier. You ever notice that? All right. So let's talk about outsourcing.
Yeah, I do. No. I do. I do notice this, but that's with like everything for me, anyways. So it doesn't. It's not the norm.
Yeah. So, what is your favorite place to find outsourcers? Is it Fiverr? Is it putting ads in the newspaper? Is it Craigslist? Bernard says, dude, you better hire Doria. Let's see. Shane says, by far the biggest need I have right now is finding, hiring, and training a project manager. We're going to talk about that, Shane. Let's see. Tony says, okay, he finds outsourcers in that place. That's awesome. This is the Playboy Club. Gail says via other marketers. That's awesome. If you can find somebody that is, is active, you know what I mean, and can vet somebody before they even get to you, that's awesome. But we can't always rely on that, right, Gail? Doris says she's had good luck with Craigslist. I've had some good luck with Craigslist too. I'm going to show you a resource today that you probably have heard of, but never thought that you could use for outsourcing, and will get you the absolute best qualified people that you can have for certain projects and something. And I'll show you how to segue that person, a lot of these people, when you find the right person, into that project manager role, right? So Art says Odesk and Fiverr. Eric says Fiverr and Odesk.
You guys are going to
John
love
says
this so much.
Odesk and Elance. So let's jump right into this. Let's talk about Fiverr for a minute. And I've got Opera open. Let's see. Okay, so Fiverr, we all know Fiverr, right? Ryan absolutely loves Fiverr. Ryan has spent more money on Fiverr than I thought was absolutely possible, right?
That's true.
And I don't have anything against Fiverr, but I will admit that when I first started, like, when Ryan first mentioned it to me, I was like, hell no, you can't find, shit good on Fiverr. There's nothing on Fiverr. It's a bunch of scammy little, who's going to do this stuff for $5, right? Well, Ryan proved us all wrong, or he proved me wrong. And then, I started using it as well. And then we taught it to you in the offline legion method. So we all know that Fiverr works. We actually promoted a piece of software by Sam a couple of weeks ago that showed you how to find your gigs on Fiverr, the gigs you need on Fiverr a lot quicker or whatever. Like, we're not promoting that anymore, but if you can Google around and probably find it or whatever, or if you want a link, just let us know. I'm not going to drop an affiliate link in the chat here. But it helps. It speeds up the process exponentially. So I'm not going to harp on Fiverr. I think we all know about Fiverr a good bit. Warriors for Hire. Who's ever hired someone from Warriors for Hire? Because I have. There's design, there's website, webmaster people, content.
Can I answer Tony's question real quick, Robert?
Sure, I didn't see it.
No, it's fine. So Tony asked, have you found the Fiverr sellers have got better? So I'm guessing, like, the longer the Fiverr's alive, the gigs get better. I'm not really seeing a decline or increase, Tony. It's like I still have Fiverr providers that I've been using since 2000, since last year, since early last year, early 2012, so a year and a half. And then some of them, they disappear. Like I have a header guy. I think I just ordered one from him a month ago. Every time I want a cheap little header done, header image, $5. He's amazing, and he's been there forever. A lot of the SEO. So I don't think it's getting better or worse. It's still the same. It's just once you find those gigs in there, you just really gotta, I always reach out to them and say, hey, I'm going to do a lot of business with you, a lot of Fiverr gigs, and usually they'll do your stuff faster if you lead them along that way too. So.
Did you see what Doris said?
Where?
She's saying she's spending more on Fiverr because the good people have good upsells.
Yeah, no, they do.
That's pretty odd. I wish when I started out that Fiverr existed, because I would have bootstrapped like so many of my businesses.
What's happening is smart marketers are seeing the traffic as Fiverr's growing, and smart marketers who know how to build funnels are going into Fiverr. It's just a low barrier to entry, a $5 easy barrier to entry, and then a smart upsell. So that's all that is, just smart marketers in there.
Yeah, Jeff
with good services. So
he found an article writer from Fiverr that works directly for him now, and I've actually done that exact same thing.
Yeah, I've done it too.
Yeah, I've stolen them out of Warriors. I've stolen them out of another forum that we're going to talk about. I say steal because, you know, I can give them so much work that they, you know, eventually just pull their thread. You know, if you find a good writer that can write good content, pay that lady, pay that man, and keep them happy. You know, make sure that they're not going to disappear on you or something like that. But content, man, you know, especially like SEO content, like quote unquote SEO content, which is like, you know, it's never fun to write that stuff. But if you can find that Adderall riddled person that can, you know, sit down and just write SEO content, you know, pay them well. So, all right. So I don't think we need to go into Warriors for Hire that much. The great thing about that forum, though, is that you already know if that person's going to be good or not if they have more than a page or two of people talking in there, right? Because look at this: premium ebooks, custom covers, US writers, rave reviews, 70% Warrior discount. I'll go right here to the last page and be like, okay, PM sent. I sent you an email. Let's see. Do you guarantee? All right, so nothing on that page. But somewhere in here, somebody's reporting back and saying, hey, this sucked or this is good. Just wanted to drop Aaron a line to say thank you. My subject was very technical. I needed some heavy research. Well, right there, you know, if they can handle something very technical and needed heavy research, then they can probably write content for your bakery client, right? So I like pulling these people in. I ordered a 10-page report 6 days ago, received it today, and I'm very happy. Now this is good because I know what their turnaround might be for a 10-page report, right? So I know I'm not going to get it tomorrow, but it probably ain't going to take a month either, which is pretty cool. Very happy, pleased with Aaron's quality work. So this right here saves you some money right now because now you know if they're going to be good or not. And just for curiosity, I'm going to go back over here to the first page. I'm going to see how much old Aaron is charging because I do a lot of content publishing. I do a lot of ebooks, right? Information products or whatever. So I might be interested in going to Aaron and at least testing him out with like a free report or something like that. Or I can use him for my clients for like white papers, right? Free reports to give away or even sell to get qualified customers in the door. Anybody ever thought about that? Like taking out a Facebook ad for your client, selling like a report, not even giving it away, but selling that thing because that is a much more qualified customer if they buy. If they break out even $1, it's a more qualified lead than a free free giveaway, right? So you could take out a Facebook ad or any kind of ad and sell that little thing. And this is usually for some, it's going to be a higher price thing. You're not going to do this for your bakeries or your flower shops or something like that. But if one of your clients is like a software provider or something like that, you could easily sell something like that. Oh, Tony wants to know what a white paper is. A white paper is a fancy name at its most basic level, is a fancy name for a report. It states a purpose, right? It's basically a research paper for the business world. Does that make sense? And just by calling it a white paper and instead of a report or something like that, instant credibility right there because it sounds really business-like, right? But it is what it is. You know what I mean? You're not lying or anything. But that's why in the business world, I don't say reports nearly as much as I say white paper because it basically it states, you know, a purpose. It's giving you some information. Now, who has ever heard of Wicked Fire? Wicked Fire recently underwent um, a bit of a look change there. Now, if you go to Wicked Fire, and I put this right in the PowerPoint slide, be careful what you click on in Wicked Fire, because what this is I was around when Wicked Fire first started out in 2006, and I actually Scott knows what I'm talking about. Um, and Wicked Fire used to be a great place to go because the Warrior Forum is a little stuffy. Wicked Fire was very very CPA centric, very very affiliate marketing centric, and it still is. But it was a great place to go to kind of let your hair down. You could talk about whatever you want. You could cuss a little bit if you wanted to, or whatever. But there was really smart people there, right? But over the years, people found out that they can just, they kind of turned it into a circus, and all the smart people kind of left. There's still a few there or whatever, but the content that is there is not nearly as good as it used to be. But one thing that is really good is their sell, buy, and trade sections for content, links and SEO, design and development. You can even go and buy email addresses if you want to, data. So Doris, that's pretty funny. Doris is pointing out that Quantcast for Warrior Forum showing
I want to send Doris a gift. I want to send Doris a gift.
Now you're gonna have everybody like
no, Doris will just make me laugh over here. I just if you can make me laugh, then I feel like I owe you something.
Okay, but Doris says
no, don't. She said no, don't.
Quantcast for Warrior Forum shows it being a bunch of crabby old lower to middle class white guys. No offense, but there it is. Well, I don't take any offense because I'm not crabby or middle class or lower whatever. That's not me. I am crabby. Okay, I am crabby.
Okay.
But it's kind of funny. She's like a bunch of crabby white guys over there. And you know what? If you look at Quantcast data, that what she is saying is absolutely true. Like that is the demographic over here at the Warrior Forum for the most part. Because remember, the demographic doesn't show who's posting as much as it shows who's looking. And 99.9% of the people are the ones that are looking. So even though it is female heavy over there, as opposed to other webmaster forums and stuff, most of the people still going there are dudes. It's still a very dude-centric industry. I think it's getting a lot better though, especially with smart women just can't coming out all over the place. One of our best, two of our best friends are Tina and Trish. You guys ever heard of Tina and Trish? They're awesome. Val Duvall is a very good friend of ours, and they're I mean, these are really, really, really smart people. So anyway, now if you go over to Wicked Fire and you go up into like the shooting the shit section, don't click on any links because they will put a porn link in that link and disguise it as a regular link. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you now. You just don't want it. You just don't want it to happen to you. They think it's really funny. It's a very locker room humor, but believe it or not, a lot of these people do take their businesses very, very seriously. And so when you come down into this area, you will get the lowdown on these people, and you can get some great stuff at some very, very, very great prices. Look at this white label SEO service, reseller service. Now, I don't know. I'm not saying this guy's good or not bad or bad. I don't know this guy or whatever. But if you were looking for an SEO reseller, look at that. He's got a package. He's got packages dealt up right now. But if you were looking for somebody that need this kind of stuff, right? So say if the small business, and I don't know, I'm just saying this as an example. Say if the small business, if you wanted to provide that for somebody as an SEO client, right? I mean, look at all the stuff you get. You could easily resell that to your client for, $600, $700, $800, $900 to $1,000 a month.
Depending on the business, the type of business, just slowly scroll down, Robert. You see all the things, how many things come, all these line items is what we call them, right, guys? All these line items. Like I can make a high quality PR written. I could say that will be $300 alone, and they have that included in this price. So you can actually justify all these line items as an a la carte, and then say altogether this is like $2,500 a month. For if you sign up with us today, we'll do it for $1,000 a month straight up, or whatever the case. So. That's another thing is taking the line items, making them a la carte, so it makes your package look even better,
more robust. And plus, I mean, they know what they're getting. Tony has an interesting question. Tony wants to know if there's any greater danger of picking up a virus from Wicked Fire. I think no. There's I've been on Wicked Fire since 2006. More as a lurker, more as just looking at this kind of stuff. But I know the owner of Wicked Fire, and he would put a boot in anybody's ass that dropped a virus there. So there's no way for that. Now, I don't know if this is good or bad. It looks like he's dropping some coupon codes. No reviews yet, but still, this is a great place. Their buy sell section is a great place that gets overlooked a whole lot, right? So let's go forward a little bit. And Filipinos, who's ever used onlinejobs.ph? Shane has. Shane, did you have a good experience? Okay, Gail has a good question. How do you ensure that you're getting unique content and or programming and what you paid for won't get reused? You're always going to have, you know, for reputation speaks a lot. And you can also use, there's a bunch of duplicate content checkers that you can use for content. So content's really easy. God, I have it bookmarked somewhere, but I don't feel like looking for the bookmark. What is the? Somebody help me out. What is that?
Just put it.
The
Put it.
default?
Just post it in the group later. You can just post it in the Facebook group later.
Yeah, but I wanted to
What do you
show
think?
them. I have an actual package, duplicate content checker. Copyscape. That's what it is.
There it is. Copyscape.
Yeah, it's like a nickel per thing. You can actually do it for free, but the functionality is limited. Okay, so you can do search for copies of your page on the web for free. Premium, you can check if content is unique and original, which it's like 5 cents per time. So, and you buy it in buckets of like $5 a time or whatever. So 5 cents a time for $5, that's like 100. You know that you can check 100 articles right away. So they, Art and Betty were helping me out. There's a couple of other ones as well. So let's go back to onlinejobs.ph. Let me look at the comments that came in. Danette says that, what's up, Danette? I always go out of my way to say hello to you because you're up at 4 in the morning. Danette says that her VA is Filipino and she has worked for Danette for 5 years full time. That is I'm glad you said that, Danette, because that is very, very profound. Like a buddy of mine, Adam, I was talking to him, and he uses nothing but Filipinos, and it's not racist the way I'm saying that, is it, Ryan? Because I'm saying Filipinos.
I
I don't
don't think
know.
so. It's
I
not. It's
don't
right there.
know.
Hire a Filipino right on the headline. So you're.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, I just want to make sure. So he uses, pretty much nobody but. I mean, and I pick on him. I'm like, dude, you're like supporting an entire village or something in the Philippines or whatever, because he's had, all of his VAs, and he's got multiple. Like I think he's got 8. Um, and he found them all through other channels and stuff. I think he found some through here too. But all of them are Filipinos, and the they're the people that are on here are every bit as intelligent as anywhere else. They work a lot cheaper, and money. I know U.S. dollars is worth a whole lot more over there. And when you bonus them, because me and Ryan are a lot alike. When we find someone that works for us and does a good job, we'll always give them a little spiff. You know what I mean? A little above and beyond or something like that. And when you bonus them, and that's what we call it, it's like bonusing them. Even if it's just a little bit, an extra $20 here, an extra $50 here, whatever, they will go above and beyond for you. So much. Plus, it's really good because they're, for people in the U.S., this isn't so much for like poor Danette. Um, like I can give them a list to do, and since they're awake while I'm asleep, it'll be done in the morning, right? So like before I get done in the afternoon, um, I'll have that list over to them, and when I get up in the morning, that list is done. Like so, it's literally work getting done for you while you sleep, right? Of course, Danette probably likes it because their time zone is more closer to hers. Um, that's another good thing, Danette. I wouldn't have remembered to say that. I'll say that in just a minute. but I think they're closer to your time zone. How far difference are they from your time zone, Danette? 4 hours, right? So you can basically talk to them in real time more than like say me and Ryan would be able to, or anybody in the U.S. Danette has something very, very important. If you hire Filipinos, you got to remember if they work full time for you, you need to pay the 13th month as a bonus each year. And that's a cultural thing, right, Danette? Yeah. And I mean, and I've had them like tell me about it. Like the first time I heard about it is a girl told me about it, and I'm like, well, okay, that seems shady. And then I just asked around to a couple of my buddies, and they're like, yeah, that's how it is. She's not just trying to like pull one over on you. So great place to go. You can go in there and find everybody that does stuff from everything from um, PHP, like very, very, very complicated programming to writers and stuff. One thing you have to watch out for with Filipinos is the same thing, but not quite as bad as with Indian people. Indian people will tell you they can do anything in the world. I'm not saying every Indian person, but it's like a cultural thing. They want to please you, basically. They want to do a really good job. So they will never say, I can't do that, right? And they're not trying to like be mean or anything. They're actually trying to be nice. They want to do for you. So that's one thing. But Filipinos are not nearly as bad about that, but they will try to do stuff for you even if they can't. So you gotta test them a little bit, give them a couple of small tasks at first or whatever. So I feel like we've okay. So I lump all these into the same group because a lot of you like Odesk. A lot of you said you liked Elance. I like micro workers. I freelance, freelancer.com, Guru. These are all, they all have their quirks, they all have their goods, they all have their bads. But these are all basically the same kind of surface at their basic level. You have basically a shopping point where you can shop for what you need done, and people all over the world are going to bid. There's a lot of crap out there. There's a lot of fake bids. There's a lot of gaming and stuff. Um, but hey, if you know what you're doing, and it's going to take you a couple of times, to find good people, right? So, is any of these new to anybody? Do y'all want me to go over any of these?
I can't
They're
wait
all
to. Can you tell them the next thing so that I can go and know that and be here for you telling them? Because I'm
okay.
just so excited about them learning about this guy. Like this is really
Whoever thought that you could hire off of Reddit?
who knew this? Who knew it? We'll wait. I want to wait because I didn't. I knew what Reddit was. I didn't know you could. I didn't know you could hire. Not me.
Over,
Shane
over,
says not me. Wow says Tony.
over the years, I've hired more
What?
people off of Reddit than anywhere else. I thought that this stuff was commonly known,
Mm-mm.
and you were gonna go into this into some great detail because this is a great resource. Because I just tried to hire somebody the other day,
Hey,
off
can
of
I tell a story? I want
yeah,
to tell a
go
story.
ahead.
All right, so
By all
this is
means.
this is what happened, guys. We're trying to hire some people to do some other things in our business, and so he's like, I'm going to put up some job postings and da da da, and I was just like, cool, because I was at the beach this weekend with my family, and he's like, I'm going to put up some job postings and stuff. I was like, all right, and then he forwards me one of the applicants, and it's a really impressive thing, and I so like, where'd you find a guy? He's like, Reddit. I was like, what? Maybe he found him on Reddit. Like, how do you find that on Reddit? And he's like, dude, there's a whole thing. And then I was like, dude, we need to show our people this. This is too cool. So we haven't shown anybody this, but you guys, and we're going to keep it reserved for you guys, and then higher level mentor type stuff. But here it is. So pay attention.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool.
Uh, and Ryan, thank you for that. Seriously,
Mhm.
checks in the mail. Um, you got to be going here
Yeah, I know.
shortly.
That's why I wanted to get that in. I got 5 minutes. Let me go make sure that I'm doing this interview. I don't think it's that long. It's like a 15, 20-minute thing maybe. If it is, I'll try to hop back on if you guys are still here. But if you don't see
Cool.
me again, guys, I'll talk to you guys next week or in the Facebook group if you ping me there. So I'm gonna jump off this though, and I'll hit you up later too, Robert. If you
All
need
right,
some.
later.
All right.
All right, so let's talk about this for a little bit because over the years I've hired more people off of Reddit than anywhere else. Do you guys remember when I said, I was talking about my old company in Atlanta when I said I stocked it with like, anywhere from 10 to 13 part-time college kids from Georgia Tech. If you know anything about Georgia Tech, you got to be really smart to get into Georgia Tech. Like I probably wouldn't have been able to get into Georgia Tech if I applied when I went to college, right? You got to be really smart to get into Georgia Tech. Well, I stocked my office with these part-time guys. They were Georgia Tech computer science. I called them my nerds, but in I don't say that in a derogatory way. Like I called that to them to their face. But anyway, what I did was I had the office, right? And I went out and rented all the office furniture because I'm not going to buy that crap. And you can rent office furniture fairly cheap. And then I turned around and rented all my computers, right? Because I'm not going to buy a bunch of computers, and I needed a computer for each one of them. Hold on, Art. I'm gonna give you all the subreddits. Don't worry about it. Is that what you wanted? You were asking me to go back to the previous slide. Yeah, we're gonna go through all the subreddits and a couple more. Um, so what I did, so my total outlay wasn't that much, right? I had my rent at my office, which was $1,200 a month. I had like the insurance and stuff and the electric bill, and then I had like um, you know the internet and stuff, whatever. And then I paid these guys between $8 and $10 an hour to come in and do my SEO. I'm not telling you you have to do this stuff. I'm just saying that I got all these guys off of Reddit, and then I had my office manager, and she was full time. She was like a 46-year-old lady or whatever, and I used to pick on her and call her the school marm because like there's this prim proper lady and everything, and she's got all these these computer geeks running around. It was kind of fun, but anyway, these guys did the work quicker than I could give it to them. And remember, I had 200 clients. Our wait time was absolutely nothing, and I was paying them well, but I was still making money hand over fist because the only if you've read my blog post on the issue that's on Daredevil Marketing, the only bottleneck that was in that company was me because I was such a micromanager at the time, which is why I stress the whole rainmaker aspect to you now because I want you to learn from my mistakes. The only bottleneck in that company was me. These guys were knocking it out fast. And so I started using them for outsourcing stuff, right? Because all the guys that worked for me, I mean, these guys like work for NASA and like the Department of Defense now. They've gone on to like these guys are really smart. So I like hiring guys that are right out of college or even still in college, guys and girls, because they're really, really, really creative. And, they have a choice. They can either go flip burgers or something like that while at school or work in their school's IT department, which they would rather, stab themselves in the eye than do that. Or they can work for me and be very, very, very creative. So which do you think that they would rather do, right? Even stuff like SEO work and stuff like that. They love doing that stuff because it's a feather in their cap, especially if they're going on to be a professional designer or to work in computer sciences and everything, because it looks great on their resume, right? And I'm just some dude, right? But I've given more references for these guys that have gotten jobs and been able to show their future employers, what they've done, whether they work with me in the office or whether they work remotely. They're able to pad their portfolio with real live business stuff. So it works really well for them. And I know what it's like to be a young guy in college, and I was lucky enough to have the GI Bill or whatever, but these guys, they want something to adhere to. A funny story about that is they all played those online multiplayer games, right? What is it called? Marisa, help me out. No, World of Warcraft. Yeah, right. So they all played that World of Warcraft stuff and these things. And so I used to let them have LAN parties, LAN parties inside the office after hours. And I called him my head nerd, and I would give him the key, and I would just let him do it because I don't play those games. I have nothing against them. I just don't find them. I just don't think I would get into it. But anyway, and I would order a couple of pizzas for them while they were doing that. Like, these guys didn't want to go out and get drunk all the time. They just wanted to play their games and do that. And I would order pizzas for them. Can you imagine how loyal they were to me? Can you guys still hear me? Because that was a question. I feel like I'm yelling at you guys. Can you hear me? These guys were absolutely loyal. They were absolutely, they loved me to death, right? So what I'm trying to say is that you don't have to hire these people to come into your office or whatever. But you can do that if you want to. They'll work remotely as well. They're going to be more expensive. But, and this is, I can't remember who asked me about project managers and stuff. These guys are, a lot of them are stateside, a lot of them are in Europe, and a lot of them are in Australia. What I like to do when I have a lot of projects going on is I like to hire somebody like this. Look at this. Here, freelance graphic design, 6 days. Oh, where do you go? Okay, somebody like this. I need help. Tons of skills, no connections. Let's look at what he's got going here. He can do 3D printing, 3D modeling. This guy is insanely smart. Architectural drafting, Illustrator, website database development. Website database development? You know how valuable this guy is? He can do Flash. He used to build games using Flash. So if you had a client that was interested in like app development for phones and stuff like that, I bet that guy could jump on in and do that. He is so desperate, though. I don't even know if this is relevant to anything, but I built a large garden in a stone house by hand. I'm interested in the sustainable living. This is a pretty large project. You know what I mean? He's willing to do it. It looks like he's willing to even do something like that. This guy's worth talking to because you can start him off on a small project to make sure he's not, a flake. And, if that worked out, give him a little bit bigger of a project, give him a little bit bigger the next time, a little bit bigger. But this is a guy that can be your damn project manager eventually within 3 months. Can you see how you can put him in charge of stuff? And you just gave him a chance when nobody else did. Yeah, it was Shane. You were the one asking about that, right? You just gave that guy a chance when nobody else did. And I mean, you got to protect yourself, right? You start him off small, $200-300 worth of work a week, build that up to, more important things, give him a little bit more, give him a little bit more. But after 2 or 3 months, you know if that guy's worth working with a lot, and you stay in constant contact with them. This is where I like to hire my project managers. Is that awesome or what? Let's look it down. I bet I could find 5 more people on the first page right here that probably would do. Okay, a recent college grad specializing in social media marketing, video production, and freelance writing. Are you kidding me? If that guy pans out, or if that young lady pans out, now you're dealing with a very, very web-savvy crowd here. This is a Rails developer. That guy is very valuable. A speechwriter. I bet if I paid him $100, he would give me a damn good press release. Professional web and user interface design. Okay, so the subreddit, I don't want to beat a dead horse because we're limited on time. Reddit, the r/4hire. I got these written down. For hire, r/jobit. Look at these numbers as well. Hold on. I got to pull this over. Oh, messing something up here. Okay, 28,563 readers. That means 29,000 people on Reddit are subscribed to this subreddit. So when you make your posting that you're looking for something, 29,000 people see it on their Reddit front page. So if somebody's looking for work, do you realize how much feedback you're going to get, or applications you're going to get? And if you know anything about Reddit, which I think a lot of you do, Redditors love to Reddit, right? That is the most loyal freaking fan base of any site anywhere. They will Reddit all day long, right? Which is kind of what you have to watch out for. You want to make sure they're just, they're actually doing work and not Redditing. But they're fiercely loyal. The website keeps getting bigger and bigger. It used to even be better than it was today. Even there were less people there. The people there were there. I almost never found a bad apple back in the day. Now, every once in a while I'll find a bad apple. But compare that to Elance, where you got to go through 6 bad apples to get to a good one. I'll take Reddit any day of the week. There's another subreddit called Jobit. Look at all this. For hire, logo designer, 3 initial concepts to start with, pay after I make exactly what you want, right? So you get this guy to make you 3 initial concepts. You take those concepts over to your client and be like, check this out. This is what I got for you. Now, my team can do more concepts if you like or whatever. This is what my team got for you, right? Because you're the rainmaker. You're not, doing logos and stuff, and you're damn sure not going to be selecting a logo for your client. You're letting them decide. You give them 3, and they're like, oh, hell yeah, I like that one right there, but can we make that little swirly thing blue instead of red? So you go back to your guy, and you're like, make the little swirly thing blue instead of red, and, pay him for the logo, right? Look at this. Android developer looking for a job in Budapest, Hungary. Well, that means he's in Budapest, right? But he can develop Android apps for you or your client anywhere in the world. Tony says it used to be, yeah. Let's see. Richard says, Robert, do you put your outsourcers in contact with your clients? 2 words, hell no. Hell no. That's what the project manager's job is for. The project manager is the customer liaison. They're the person that goes back and forth with the outsourcers and the clients. Now, if I didn't have a project manager yet, right, I would be doing it myself. So if you're just starting out, you would do it yourself. You're the customer liaison. But after you get that project manager started, you put them in direct contact with them. Does that make sense? You never connect with your outsourcers. Why would you do that? Because you're doing basically arbitrage. You're buying low and selling high. So there you go. I didn't mean to sound like I'm beating up on you about it or anything, but it's very, very important. You just never want to do that. Let's see here. Looking for jobs on behalf of my father, ex-pharmaceutical sales director. If this is important, because I've found some salespeople on Reddit before that have gone out and absolutely killed it for me. Can you imagine if you didn't even have to make rain and all you had to do is manage your sales force? These guys, a lot of them are used to be paying on nothing but commission alone. So you give them everything they need as far as sales materials, the website, hell, print them up some business cards if you need to. Give them, an and one line or a line 2. That's and one. When I say that, a line 2 line, right? You guys know what line 2 is? Anybody ever heard of that? I've used this in 2 companies now. It used to be called something else. I can't remember. Line 2 is basically you can have it for iPad, iPhone, or Android. It's basically like having your whole thing in one. So someone calls your 800 number or your regular number, they get like a professional little office greeting. Basically press 1 to go to sales, press 2 to go to service and stuff like that, or press 23 to speak to Robert. And I don't ever have them come to me, but they can go to my project manager or my sales staff. But you can get line 2 hooked up for like next to nothing, and these guys can have it on their Androids or their iPads or whatever. So you can have your Salesforce all hooked into it or whatever, and you can set it up so it rings to you know, Bob, which is your number one salesman first. But if Bob's not available, it's going to go to Jake, you know, next or whatever, your number two sales guy, right? It's really cool. And it's cheap as hell too. And you can tie in 800 numbers and stuff. You guys learning a lot today? Even without Ryan here? He felt so bad. He did. So I'm trying to, okay, cool. Good. Thank you. We felt bad because we double booked that, and we were both supposed to be doing that interview. And I was like, nah, man, I got some stuff I want to drop on them that they'll have. Now, our freelance, which is the freelance subreddit, is you're not going to find anybody really looking for jobs. But what you're going to find are people that are talking about. These are guys that are professional freelancers, and they're trading tips back and forth with each other. These are threads that you really want to get in there and not really, you don't have to like participate, but you're going to find them bitching about us employers, right? They're bitching about this or that, you know, they hate, you know, look at this, the paycheck runaround. Well, this guy says it's all my fault. Client asking for files, advice. I want to write freelance. What are those things about freelancing you wish you knew to do when starting? So you're getting, you know, up to date, like competitive intelligence on your freelancers and what freelancers like and what they hate. And because you want to be the best boss in the world, right? I do. I like my employees to like me. I mean, that's the greatest feeling in the world, right? So let's see, go into jobs, and it's basically the same thing. A little less directly related to us than freelance, but you can still get some. You can get some good stuff. I have not used timetohire.com. I've heard of it, Danette. Let's take a look at that real quick. Is this the, yeah, this is the sales rep ones. Matter of fact, when we had that meetup in Atlanta a couple of months ago, which we got to do another meetup. And sorry, Danette in particular, and anybody else in Australia, we have no plans to come to Australia. I want to, that would be awesome. But like we got to do another meetup somewhere in the country pretty soon. You know, we're doing that thing in Fort Lauderdale, so I hope to see you guys there too. But here's I have heard of this. I've heard good things about it. These are professional people that, you know, put their you know, I think you can even see what kind of sales they have experience in. And I talked to a guy at the meetup in Atlanta, and he had over 150 people across the nation that he had gotten the bulk of them from time to hire. So it's pretty cool. Can you guys still hear me? I want to make sure, because I'm getting a little, I seem to be on a slow network. Okay, cool. All right. So anybody got any questions so far about like outsourcing, where to outsource, how to find a project manager, how to step that person up or something like that? Cool. Thank you, Gail. All right. How to train a project manager. Okay, cool. How to train a project manager, I don't have like a step-by-step kind of thing. Because what I do is, just like I told you before, is keep stepping up a person, and people will emerge. Once you start, you know, pulling people in at freelancers and stuff, you'll know who has free time. That, you know, if you'll know who does the best work. You'll know who is most dedicated, who's the quickest to respond. People that are quick to respond over a time of months, they might be quick to respond. You know, some people will be quick to respond the first week, but after the second week, third week, you know, they get a little bit slower and stuff. But that guy that still is responding quickly, doing great work, and is excited about the work that he's doing for you or she's doing for you after 2 months, that's a damn candidate right there. So you start working a little bit closer with them. You know, anytime you're doing stuff, I'm anytime I'm online doing stuff, I have my Skype open and stuff, and I'll sit there and talk to them a little bit, and they get emotionally invested in what you're doing as well, and your clients. Hey, did the client like that? Did they like this? And I'll give them like 1 or 2 clients to start off with after, 3 months or something like that, and see how they work with that. But basically with working with me, that's how I'm training them. I'll tell them, basically, they know what kind of work that I'm already getting for that client. So I'll put them with the client that they're already doing the bulk of the work with. And then I'll start, basically, I'll get on a Skype call with them, just like I'm on a phone with you. And I'll start telling them exactly how to do this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, this is what you go and, these are the kind of outsources I use for this. This is the kind of stuff I do with this, blah, blah, blah. Now, what's the downside, quote unquote, downside to this? Eventually that project